Hello guys, welcome back to part 2. We're going to continue looking at this tier list. We already have some decent things happening here. We got an unplayable guy, we got a god mode guy, and a pretty good little bell curve that's happening here. So let's move on, because last time I felt like I had enough time to do everything, but I didn't. So, okay. Starting off with Naruto, I believe he's a 7 cost, I think. 8 power. Every time he attacks, you lose 2 time, but you get to restand one of your other battlers. And has +1 Guardian of Attack, I believe. So I'm really interested in building a deck that revolves around this card. I think that the -2 time, I think in the competitive scene, you're gonna see a lot of people leaving you at like 1 or 2 time, and because of that, it's gonna be hard to get this ability off. Because as soon as you attack and then you lose that 2 time, it's like, well, great. So I'm gonna put him under meh right now, but after I build a deck with him, I might change my mind there. He might even become unplayable, who knows. Next up is Hinata. So Hinata is an action card. I believe that costs 2. I believe it's 2. You choose one of your battlers, return it to your hand, and draw 2 cards. So I absolutely love this card when you're playing blue-red, because anything that bounces your battlers back to your hand and you're running red, you choose your cards that have recovery. So you attack with those. It doesn't die because it has recovery, unless they have an action card that kills it. And then you just play Hinata. You bounce that right back to your hand because it's probably going to die anyway. And then you get the bonus of draw 2 cards. Or if you're playing Yamato, it's bounce one of their cards and get an EX card. So I think it's really good, but it's not so great in decks that run a lot of big monsters. So because of that, I'm going to put it under decent. Next up, we have this Gaara, or maybe it's his other one that looks like Gaara. I forget how much his cost is, but he's an EX battler with 5 power. When he dies or is destroyed, you draw another EX card. He has fast and sentinel. So I think he's like a 4 cost maybe. This one's kind of interesting. It's basically like the red snake from Red, where you're getting another EX card to replace it. It doesn't have the +1 Guardian of Attack, so it's only going to be swinging for 1. It also only has 5, so it could potentially die. But the fact that it has Sentinel is pretty nice. I think it's an okay card. I'm just going to put it on meh. Next up is Gaara. Gaara is a 7 cost, 7 attack. When it attacks, you destroy one of your battlers, and then you restand another battler. So I'll also be trying to work with making a deck around this. We'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it's good. But for right now, the fact that you have to kill your battlers is kind of sad. So we're just going to put it, I almost want to put it in unplayable, just because I can't see it being that good. And it's every time you attack, so it's going to be blowing up one of your cards just to restand another one. I am going to put him on meh. We'll see. We'll do some testing. Come back and we can adjust this. Next up is Shikadai, I think is his name. He's 1 cost, 2 strength, and cannot attack battlers. I think he's an okay card. I mean, it's a 1-drop. What more can you ask for? It's 2 strength, but it can't attack anything. Not like it needs to attack anything, because it's only 2 strength. I think it's just a decent card. It could be swapped out for something else. Tintin, 2 for 2, vanilla. I don't like vanillas at all, but just a little surprise note, I'll be making a straight up vanilla deck, and we'll see just how crappy they really are. Next up is Kabuto, 1 cost, 3 strength. When you play it, you draw an EX card and give your opponent a Guardian. This card is very interesting. It's a 3 cost, which is okay. I mean, for it's a 3 power, which is okay for a 1 cost. That's amazing. But, you're giving your opponent a Guardian. At the same time, you're getting some early EX cards, which is really good. EX cards are just amazing. So I will put him in decent. For purple, there's really no other good options for early game cards, except for like Conan, and yeah. So we'll just put him in decent for right now. Hinata is a 3 cost, 2 strength. When you play her, you give a battler +4 power, and I believe you get an EX card when she dies. This card, again, it's just It's decent. I could think it could be exchanged out for other things. It's cool that you're powering up your cards, especially with +4. That's really awesome. But there are other cards that can fill the space. Things that cannot fill the space is things like Naruto. This cannot be replaced. This is a great card. 5 for 5, draw an EX card, it has Sentinel. What more can you ask for? 5 is a extremely good number, and you know, it ends up trading with a lot of stuff, just like Sai can't get past it. They gotta play something that's pretty big just to get over it, so very good. This card is unplayable because there is another red card, EX card, that has the exact same stats, except it's 1 cost lower. It has the same strength, does the same thing, but it's 1 cost lower. So why would you ever play this card? It makes no sense to me. So just die. I hope this card dies. All right, next up is Didara, 6 cost, 5 strength. When it attacks, choose a cost. One of your battlers will cost 4 or less and stand it. So this one's kind of cool. It's another card I'm going to be playing around with, but for right now, I think it just belongs here. Now we have, I think this is Sasuke Susanoo. It's like 8 or 9 cost, has 14 strength. You draw an EX card when you play it. Has like +2 guardian attack and fast. So it's a really big hitter, but I think that there are better options, possibly. I'll just put it into decent, because nothing's gonna get over that. I think 14 is the highest, I believe, in the game, so it literally can't die to, I don't think it could die to anything except for Neji. So, oh, and of course, you know, bouncing it back to your hand. But as far as killing it, I think Neji's the only thing that can kill it, which is pretty cool. Then we have Sasuke doing this little Chidori move. I think he's like a 5 or 6 cost with 6 strength. Every time it attacks, you choose a battler. That battler gains 3 power. Has +1 guardian attack, fast, and sentinel. I think it's a pretty decent card. I don't think it's a staple, so I'm gonna put it in decent. Okay, next up we have Rock Lee. This card is unplayable, just horrible. It has Last Stand, so it's gonna die every time. It's basically Sakura, except it kills itself at the end of the turn. So just don't play it. Don't you ever play that card. All right, next up we have Choji at I think he's a 4, has 2 strength. When it attacks, draw 2 cards, and it has fast. Pretty cool if you're going against red, because you swing into one of their recovery boys. You just run it over and draw 2 cards, and you just laugh and laugh and laugh. So I will put this card in decent. I think it could be changed out for other things. Vanilla, 4 for 4, gonna die. We have another Shikamaru. This is a 7 cost, 6 strength, -4 leader ability with +1 attack, guardian attack. I think that, again, this card is for very specific decks. It's super high cost, but pretty fun to play if you're doing the high cost reinforcements deck with green. He's a pretty cool target to lay out, but I just think it's meh. Next up we have, I think it's Garaga or something like that. It's one of my favorite red cards for EX battlers, like 3 or 4 cost, 4 strength. When you play it, automatically replaces itself, has +1 in guardian attack and fast. I think this is a staple for red. Next up we have what I believe is a staple for green. I absolutely love this card. I think it's one of the best 2-drops in the entire game. I forget his name, but he's a 2 cost, and I think it's a guy. It might even be a chick, who knows. I don't watch enough of this show. 2 cost, 2 strength. When it attacks, gains 5 strength, bringing it up to a 7, which can just roll over more than half of the cards in this game. Also has the guardian ability that when it dies, you get a EX card. Putting it in staple, gotta run it. Then we have Hugo, Jugo, something like that. I think that this is an amazing card for blue. Yes, it has a very low strength, but the fact that you can tap a card and attack right into it is awesome. And then, of course, the guardian ability, you just tap a card. Very cool. Next up, we have Dadara as a EX battler, 7 cost, 7 strength. When it attacks, you play one of your other come into play abilities, and then you gain you have reinforcements, and then it's a +1, I believe, guardian attack with fast. I absolutely love this card. I wouldn't say it's a, you know what, actually, it's like borderline staple, but again, it's pretty high cost. I think for a purple, we'll look at it as if like purple EX were your only options. I think you should run it. Then we have Shino as a 4 cost for 5 power, garbage. And then we have Sasuke as a 4 cost for 3. When you play it, draw an EX card. It has Legion. His Guardian ability is that if he is destroyed, he goes back to your hand. I see a lot of people adding this card to their deck, and I still don't understand why. I think it's a pretty high cost for a measly 3, which a lot of things can destroy that. The fact that you get an EX card is nice, but I think there are some better options out there. Because of that, I'm putting it into the meh category. Vanilla Eno, 3 for 3, trash. Zabuza, 5 cost, 6 power, amazing. Can't attack battlers though, but when it attacks, it's killing up to 2 guardians with its +1 guardian attack, and has leader -3. This is one of my absolute favorite cards in green. I think that it's very much worth the investment of 5 time. Especially because it has 6 power, which again, I was telling you, this is like the key to get, guys. 6 power is awesome. It can be stopped by sentinels, which is a little unfortunate, but to me, it's a great early game card for green if you can't find the excuse me, the Naruto. I don't think you have to run 3 of it, but I think it definitely needs to be in the deck. Let's take a drink here. Next up, we have Sakura. This is an action card for 1. Destroys a battler with 3 or less power. Same thing for the Guardian ability. Staple for red. This gets over so many threats, and it's why I hate to see cards that have 3 power. Even though Sakura has 3 power, and I put it in staple, it's going to die to this, and it's going to be sad. But that's just what has to happen. Next up is Kankuro. 5 cost, 5 power. When it comes into play, you tap a battler. It gives all of your other battlers +2 strength, and its guardian ability is draw 1, discard 1. This card is meh to me. I've done some testing with it. It's very specific and the kind of deck that you have to build around it. And even though it's giving out some great power, I just don't think it's enough. I don't think the extra 2 is really worth it, because it's only whenever they attack. If it was a passive that just gave them 2 at all times, that would be interesting. But for right now, we'll just put it at meh. Next up, we have Conan, 2 cost, 1 strength. When it dies, you gain an EX card, and its guardian ability is you get to recover a card from your discard pile and add it to your hand. So pretty cool. I think it's almost a staple, like super borderline, but actually, yeah, let's put it in staple. I think it could fit in there. I mean, it's such a unique ability. It's such a low cost, and it gets you an EX card. That's pretty good. Yamato, staple for red. I add 3 of this to every deck I have. Like I said in the last video, if you have a card with recover, please target that card because it's going to die anyway. And you get to bounce one of their cards back. Super cool. Next up is Team 7. This is a 3 cost action card where it gives you a guardian back. Same thing for its ability when it is broken. In the tests that I've done, this card is a little underwhelming. Because of that, I'm giving it a meh rating. Next we have Sasuke Uchiha, the 8 cost, 10 power. When it attacks, you gain 2 time, and it has +1 guardian attack. This is one of my favorite cards in blue. And because it's my favorite, I'm putting it as a staple. I only run 2 though. I think 3 is a little clunky. But the reason I love this card is because it gets over Boruto. It's one of the only outs for blue against Boruto. So yeah, 10 strength is awesome. Especially when they attack, if it's a guardian and they attack it to it, like womp womp. Okay, Naruto as a 6 cost, 6 power. When it comes to play, destroy a card with cost 4 or less, has +1 guardian attack. I think this card could be switched out for other things. It's kind of like a toss up between that and Pain. Sometimes I usually go with Pain just because it's like, yeah, it's just an extra cost and it has a guardian ability. So just putting that out there. All right, Haku. Here's the thing with Haku. I don't like Haku that much, but it's a decent card. I'm putting it in decent because it's 3 cost, has very low power. I hate that its power is so low. I wish it was 3 for 3. But it has the leader ability, and I would put it in meh, but it has this +2 time as its guardian ability, so I think that's really good. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but that's just, there's something about it, man. It's just like I throw it out, it dies, I'm like, great. And it's basically Shikide with a, whatever his name is, Shikadai, with the Guardian ability, so, Next up is Hidan. I think this is a staple, because no matter if you're building, again, the high reinforcements deck or the low reinforcements deck, this should go in, because it's right there in the juicy middle. Next up is Jiraiya. This is one of the worst cards in the game. Has a last stand of +4 attack, so it goes up to 8 for a 5 cost. And if it's destroyed, I think you draw an EX card. Why did they not give this guy +5 attack so that he could destroy Boruto? He had one job. He was to destroy Boruto, but he can't even do that because he's only at 8. And it is so sad. And every time I see this card, it makes me want to just find it in my pile of cards and just throw it out the window. Okay, we got time for a couple more here. Sugetsu, staple, one of the best blue cards. It is a 2 cost 1 strength. When you play it, you draw a card, draw an EX card, discard 2 cards, has Sentinel, and its Guardian ability lets you draw cards. So much value in that. Almost want to put it in God mode because it's just so good. You know what? Boom. God mode. This card has so much value. I love it. The fact that you can get an EX card and dig through your deck is incredible. Love it. God mode. Congratulations, Sugetsu. Next up is Itachi. This is a 7 cost 9 strength. When it attacks, you draw an EX card, give your opponent a Guardian. Has +2 or 3 Guardian attacks. I think it's +2 actually. Pretty decent card. It's really strong. I love that it gets over Boruto. I think it's like every single video I'm like, how do you get over Boruto? How do you get over Boruto? I hate seeing that card. Pretty much loses you the game if you don't have an out. So I'm gonna put it in decent. If it was 8 strength, it would be meh. But it has that juicy 9, so that's what we're looking for. And the last card we're doing before we end this and go to part 3. I'm so sorry that this is taking so long. But hey, it's every card in the game, and we're reviewing it right here, right now. Is Might Guy. This is a 8 or 9 cost with 8 power. When it comes into play, it destroys a card that is, I believe, 8 or less. And then, oh, power 8 or less. Yeah, this is another one that it just bugs me so much. Has like +1 or +2 Guardian attack. So why could they not make it to where he destroys a card with 9 or less so that he can kill Boruto? I hate that. It's the same thing as Jiraiya. It's like, who out here is playing cards with, 8 power? There's not very many. But you know what they are playing? They're playing Boruto and he has 9 power and nothing can kill him except for like 5 cards. And it's annoying. And because of that, he's unplayable. Too much cost for too little. I mean, I'd rather play Tsunade, which, gets over something that's probably going to be around 5 or 4, whatever power. And, oh my god. These 2 cards right here, man. They're crazy. All right, last card. I know I said the last card, but this is the last card. Inojin, cost 2 for 1 power, has Legion, has the ability that gives you an EX card when he dies in the Guardian stack. I think this card is pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's a staple because I think it can be replaced with other cards, but pretty okay card. That's it for part 2. Come back and hopefully we'll finish part 3. See you next time.